Been quite a few reports, okay, and a lot of media coverage on several mass shootings that have been going on, and one unfortunately happened recently, earlier this week here in Indiana at a shopping mall. But why didn't this one get any coverage? Well, because it was resolved, thankfully, with a minimal loss of life, still significant nonetheless, okay, but because as you can tell by the headline there, Good Samaritan, a good guy with a gun stopped a bad guy with a gun. Imagine that. Oh my God. And especially because a Good Samaritan, well, he kind of looks like that. But more on him in a moment. I want to give you the backstory when it comes to this. An active shooter at an Indiana shopping mall was killed on July 17th by a Good Samaritan who was lawfully armed with a handgun, according to officials. At least 4 people, including the shooter, were killed after the suspected gunman opened fire in a food court of the Greenwood Park Mall, my mistake, located in the burbs of Indianapolis. Greenwood Police Chief James Elisjsha said in a press conference on Sunday that law enforcement responded to reports of an active shooter at a mall at around 6 p.m. local time. The suspected shooter, who had been identified as an adult male, appeared to be armed with a rifle and several magazines of ammunition, and was entered in the food court and began shooting people. And then he just started blasting. 5 people were shot in the incident, 4 of whom have died from their injuries, Elisjsha said. That sucks. 2 others were wounded. Hopefully they made a full recovery, or at least on the trajectory to. The police chief said the victims were 1 male, 4 females, including a 12-year-old girl, whose parents brought her to the hospital with minor injuries after the shooting. She is expected to be just fine. She'll have some cool scars and a fun story to tell. Fun, Second victim injured was hospitalized in an unstable condition as of Sunday evening, Elisjsha said. That's good. The suspected gunman was taken down by a 22-year-old Good Samaritan from Bartholomew County and was lawfully armed and observed the shooting in progress. Elisjsha said, referring to the individual as a real hero. That's why you didn't hear much about this story, and nobody's going up to the suburbs of Indianapolis in order to stump for any gun control, because it'd be like, oh, we need to have a tighter control on all these guns. Yeah, except for a guy who has taken part in the recently passed constitutional carry, stopped a maniac from committing acts of murder, like real crimes, not just these fucking felonious gun crimes. All right, then. Real hero of the day is a citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm in the food court and was able to stop the shooter almost as soon as he began, Elisjsha said during the latter press conference. Greenwood Mayor Mark Myers also said in a statement on Sunday that the suspect was shot by an armed individual, adding that the tragedy hits the core of our community. In a separate statement, Myers thanked the armed bystander, who he has referred to as a Good Samaritan, who was able to stop further bloodshed. This person saved lives tonight. On behalf of the city of Greenwood, I am grateful for this quick action and heroism in this situation. Police do not yet have motive for the attack and are continuing to investigate the shooter alongside multiple other agencies. I'll just go ahead and give it to you. Broken home, over-medicated, and probably just had some sort of a fucked ideology. Just trying to take out random people at a fucking suburb. It never fails. It's always that shit, okay? Fix families, and then you would have a lot fewer fucking school shooters or just active shooters, mass shooters like that. But we don't need to talk about gun crime or anything like that, or gang violence in the inner cities, because it's not like that's just an easy parallel to draw or anything like that. No, wouldn't want to be talking about how a vast majority of mass shootings carry out. But anyways, let's talk about, I'd pronounce his name, but I can't, and his last name is hilarious. So we got Elisjsha Dicken. He is the 22-year-old kid who was carrying and stopped an atrocity from happening. God bless. He took out the Indiana Mall mass shooter. 22-year-old Elisjsha Dicken. And after this, he better be dicking some bitches down. He's being praised for shooting and stopping Sunday's mass shooter in Indiana Greenwood Park Mall. Breitbart News reported Dicken was able to carry his handgun because of Indiana's constitutional carry provision. Yeah, that was recently passed. And again, imagine that. The government getting out of the way for people to properly express their constitutional rights. Wow, imagine that. It actually stops bad things from happening. Imagine that. WTHR notes that the attacker began shooting in the mall's food court at around 5:56 p.m. Sunday. Dickens responded by opening fire on the attacker at 5:57. This kid is absolutely ice cold. He just was like, yep, nope. It's time. It's time. The attacker tried to run for cover as Dickens fired at him, but collapsed to the floor, fatally injured from at least one of Dickens's rounds. Oh, he definitely got Dickens, alright. I wonder if he had a cool 80s action line when he just finally took that hunk of shit to the fucking ground. WFLA observes Dickens was, by the cookie counter, okay, close to the main walkway of the mall. You're describing that like we know the layout of the Greenwood Park Mall, okay. Witnesses indicate Dickens then returned fire, closing the distance on the attacker as he did. What a fucking Chad. This fucking dumpy kid, man. Maybe that's an out-of-date picture, some shit like that, but hit the gym, bro, and you just be absolutely fucking king shit in Indianapolis, no doubt. Greenwood Police Chief Jim Eisen said of Dickens, I'm gonna tell you, the real hero this day was a citizen who was lawfully carrying a firearm in the food court and was able to stop the shooter almost as soon as he began. And I've also seen reports as well, and I don't know if they elaborate on this any further, don't really appear to, but because Indiana, the state, okay, passed that constitutional carry law, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have been able to legally carry that gun. Dickens, this is, okay? He wouldn't have been able to be strapped in order to prevent that shooting from becoming even more deadly than it already was. Didn't have the permit, okay? None of that extra shit that was there. So again, government getting out of the way is the best thing they can do to make people safer overall, because an armed society is, guess what? A polite society. Because this is what this coward did. I don't give a fuck who, was the actual shooter who was in there just trying to cause the havoc and mayhem, okay? That's a coward. He was not expecting to receive any fire returned upon him, so thought that he'd be able to just waltz into a quiet place, fuck some shit up, but he fucking found out quickly that's not the case. On Monday, Greenwood Park Mall issued a statement that also acknowledged Dickens' heroic act. We grieve for the victims of yesterday's horrific tragedy in Greenwood. Violence has no place in this or any other community. We are grateful for the strong response of the first responders, including the heroic actions of the Good Samaritan who stopped the suspect. That's Eli Dickens. You put fucking respect on this dude's name. I'd properly pronounce his name, but, too many consonants and shit. I'm a quarter Eastern European, not that fucking Eastern European. WTHR explained that Dickens does not have any formal police or military firearm training. No, he's just a Chad. Rather, he learned to shoot from his grandfather. Again, what a fucking winner. Absolute winner. And you know what? If media with their heart on when it comes to mass shootings, okay, if they were being fair and open and honest, okay, they would give this case, okay, the fact that it had, I know it's still fucked, the fact that 4 people are dead and all, and I don't want to downplay that, of course, but the fact that this one had a relatively lighter solution to it, okay, it had a resolution where further tragedy was prevented. You think that they should be championing this, but nah, they got other shit to peddle, like this upcoming climate catastrophe or some shit. I don't fucking know. But with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.